Hi everyone, and welcome back to my craft room. This is card 3 in my series of 4 Marvellous Mothers Day Makes that I'm sharing with you this weekend. This card has caused me traumas no end, as much as that's entirely possible. I knew I liked the design, but I just couldn't settle on the final colours. It was just nothing really jumped out at me, so I've tried it in I think this one is So Saffron and Stamped Off Grapefruit Grove with some garden green background. No, that was probably Petal Pink. Yeah, So Saffron and Petal Pink with a garden green background. Yeah, nice. Doesn't really do much for me. I tried to go a bit darker, so this is Petal Parade and Lovely Lipstick with a old olive background of leaves. No, still doesn't really turn me on too much. So I'm going to try a third combination, and I have actually started making the flowers for my third combination, but then I wrote down what the combination was on a piece of paper and I've lost it. So I'm going to have to try and recreate it from memory. And given that I have made 4 cards plus lots and lots of other designs this weekend, it's going to be quite interesting. But anyway, let's see. As I say, some designs just aren't meant to be, and this is one of them. But anyway, hopefully the outcome will be okay. So let's go with it. So what I've decided to go for is for mums that don't fit the pinks and reds and sort of those sorts of colours mould, of which I am one of them. So I've gone for some bright, sunshiny sort of daisy colours here. Now, from memory, and this is going to test my memory, we have one of the new in colours here, which is the Seaside Spray, which is the lighter part, with Pacific Point is the darker part. So I'll show you shortly how I managed to get that two-tone effect. And the other one is Daffodil Delight with Grapefruit Grove on the inside. So I don't know, that's a little bit subtle, you can't quite see that. So as I say, to make the card I need 3 of each colour, so I've got 1 more to do. So let's see how we go, whether I have actually remembered those colours correctly or not. So I've got just some little scraps of white cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp them with the stamp set. Okay, I should start from scratch. I'm using the Daisy Lane stamp set in this latest card, and it comes with this cute little punch here that makes this little daisy, and that's the one I'm going to be using. You can actually also buy a punch that cuts out the big daisy, but I'm using the smaller one this time. So it's a really nice stamp set and good for beginners because you get the punches and you don't have to worry about dies or fussy cutting. It makes for a lovely, quick, successful card. Okay, so each of my little daisies is made up of 2 single daisy cuts. So for each one I'm going to have to stamp 2. So let's see how we go. I'm pretty sure of the first combination, so let's give that one a go first. So we have Seaside Spray with Pacific Point. So the Seaside Spray is obviously the lighter colour, so I stamp that first. And then I bring in a dauber with the darker colour. So I'll stamp on the light one first, bring in the dauber and just daub the darker one in the centre. Just make sure my iPad is actually caught up here. Yep. And make sure my sound's alright. Yep, it is. Okay, so, and then we can stamp that one. There we go. So you see you've got the darker colour on the inside. There. So let's do another one. So the lighter colour, and then bring in our dauber. So I'm just going to need two of this one and 2 of the other one. There we go. So I'll just give that a clean off. It's quite stubborn, that blue. And we'll bring in the other 2 colours and hope for the best. I have actually got Pineapple Punch there. I don't think it was Pineapple Punch. I'm pretty sure it was Daffodil Delight. Let's try that one. Okay, so Daffodil Delight with Grapefruit Grove. Should be a nice combo even if it's not the right combo. Okay, so let's bring in our stamp again. So again, Daffodil Delight on first, and bring in our dauber and bring some of the darker colour in the centre. Yep, that's it. So Daffodil Delight. There we go. Actually, it's not, you know, it's too dark. I reckon it's So Saffron. Oh, Lord. Oh, let's try So Saffron. Give that another clean off. The joys of live crafting, huh? Okay, so I've got, thankfully, another piece of paper here, which I can use. So we'll So Saffron with our dauber. Yeah, that's better. It was definitely So Saffron. So rewind. It's Pacific Point and Seaside Spray and So Saffron with Grapefruit Grove are our four colours. There we are. That's better. Happy with that. Okay. So as I say, I only needed 2 more daisies or 4 more single daisies, which I will double up with each other. So I think those are quite sunshiny colours. I quite like those. Okay, so with our punch, makes it the easiest thing in the world. You just position your little daisy, much easier than fussy cutting or even die cutting, and you can punch it out. So all the products I am featuring in my Mother's Day makes are a current catalogue items, but keep in mind that the current catalogue will actually expire early June. So if you see something you like, please don't hesitate or please don't delay, because many of them will go in our exciting new catalogue and be replaced with other wonderful things, but you know what I mean. Nothing better than our old favourites. Okay, so what I'm going to then do is bring in my bone folder, which is here somewhere, and I'm going to give these flowers a slight bend downwards. So just running between your, very gently because they are quite fragile, run between your finger, your thumb and the bone folder, just to give them a little curl, just a slight curl underwards, so they look like slightly tired out spiders when they sit on the bench here. It just gives them a little bit of interest on the card rather than sitting just perfectly flat. Okay, just the last one, just very gently, because where they join where the petals join the base, it's quite thin. So if you're too rough, like I tend to be sometimes, you can have flower disasters. Okay, so just a tiny bit of glue. I'm just going to put a touch of glue on the centre of one of them. If my glue will come out. Started a new one. Not successfully by the looks of things. That one's not going to work. I'll grab another one. Touch of glue, good. And position your flower just so that the petals sort of peek out from behind each other. Just number 1 and number 2. There we go. So as I mentioned, I wanted 3 pretty little daisies of each of our colours. Okay, so I'll show you what else I have here. What else I have here are, to complete our card, I have a card base. Now this is Pacific Point cardstock, and as mentioned previously, my standard card bases are 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, which I measured before in centimetres was 21 by, oh gosh, I've forgotten, 21 by 14.5, so it's scored at 10.5 centimetres in the centre. Okay, so that's just my standard card base. I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock to go inside for our little personal Mother's Day message, and I've got a piece of Whisper White cut for the outside, which is where I'm going to stamp our leaves, our leafy background. So I'll keep that out. I'm going to stamp the leafy background in Granny Apple Green, because I wanted to go a little bit brighter with this card, a bit brighter than my other attempts, as they were definitely attempts. Okay, so I'm going to use full strength stamp, and then second generation stamp as well. So if you don't know what that means, just you'll see in a second. So first generation or straight ink on first of all, and then without re-inking, I'm then going to do a second one, just to give the leaves a little bit of interest, so you can see when you stamp the second time, the second one is quite pale, the same colour but paler. And then first, and then another second, and then a first and a second. So I'm just giving our lovely little daisies a bit of a leafy background here. And it looks a bit messy on the inside, obviously, where they all overlap, but that's going to be covered by our daisies, so there's no problems there. Apologies, I worked my way down the sheet a little bit there. So okay, so there we are. Now we're going to just arrange our daisies in that little area, so just sort of around here, and I'll get some glue onto them in a minute, just so you can see what I'm going to try and achieve. There we are. So that, I like that. I think that's my favourite of the three that I've done. So I might get you to put what your favourite is in the contents when I actually finish. Tell me which one you prefer. Okay, so actually I'm not quite happy with that there. I have actually, you see how I've done that? I've got the full strength ones on the outside and the part strength ones on the inside, and it looks a bit forced. So I'm actually going to pop full strength one in there, and just, obviously I am the only person that knows I've done that, but it's important to me. So there you are, that's better. Okay, so let's start gluing our daisies around. So I'm just going to bring the first one in here. So you're just sort of building a tiny bit of glue, and then push your daisy down, and try and sort of alternate them a little bit so that they're not all sort of on top of each other or all underneath, just so they overlap each other a little bit. There we go. And then our yellow ones. And the final blue one. Okay, so that's really nice. I quite like that colour combination. Just move them around a little bit. Quite like that colour combination, a little bit different, a little bit non-traditional Mother's Day, but I think that's sweet. Okay, there we go. So I hope you like that as well. So I think really what's going to lift it is when I put it onto the card base. Yeah, it could bring out that blue in the card base as well, so that's really nice as well. So I'll do that now. And just attach that to the card base. It's because I've done all that stamping and punching already, it's quite a quick card to make, so we'll all get an early minute from this video, I reckon. So there we are, we have our little daisies on their card base. And I'm going to pop the centre one in, the centre panel. Use this one. Put our little centre panel in. Okay, so we'll put our sentiment on. I've got a little sentiment square cut here. It's about 1/2 centimetre wide, or 1/2 inch wide, or 1 centimetre wide. And I'm going to trim it to the right length. I'm actually going to use the Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day from the Dress to Impress stamp set, which interestingly is the next stamp set the final video is going to feature. So Happy Mother's Day. It's quite a cute little stamp, a nice little font. Pop that on a block, just in black, and then I'll trim it to size. There we go. Just grab my scissors. Trim it to the right size, not too long. And get some dimensionals and pop that up. Just use the end bits of this one. Always use your end bits, never waste them. And I might bring some bling into this one as well. I think it needs a little bit of zhuzh just to bling it up a little bit. So I'm just going to pop my sentiment in here, just overlapping a couple of our daisies just to give it a bit of layering effect. Just there like that. So that's quite sweet. And I might bring in some silver embellishments. Bear with me, I haven't brought them out. I'm over here somewhere. Oh, where are you? Oh, here they are. Just going to use the little frosted or clear epoxy droplets, which are really, really nice and also available in the current catalogue. So I'm just going to use the clear ones. Bring in take a pick tool. Just going to use the little ones. Just pop them where the little gaps are, just for a little bit of bling. Even the mums who aren't into pink like a little bit of bling, and I think it just lifts the card a tiny bit. There we are. Okay, so that's card number 3. It's a lovely little simple card. There's not much to it really. It's just our little daisies in our colours. So I've done our 3 colours there, and if you can tell me which one you like the best. As I say, it got me really stumped, this one, but I wasn't going to give up. So we've got our blues and our yellows, we've got our reds and our pinks, and we've got our yellows and our pinks there. So that's my 3 attempts at this particular one. And tell me which one you prefer in the comments, and I'll take, you guys probably a far better judge than me. So there we are, but a nice simple card, a little bit of bling, just something simple and pretty for our gardening mums. Okay, so thanks very much. As I said, that's card number 3. We'll be back very shortly with card number 4. I hope you're enjoying them so far. And as I mentioned, if you have any questions about any of the products that you've seen featured in these videos, just drop me a line via my Facebook business page over it, and I'd be happy to help you out. Okay, thanks so much.